The women's 55 kilo category was once again an absolute blinder. We had a few kind of front runners who we knew were going to do well, and then there was, as always, this chasing pack who did a great job in the fight for the bronze. Let's get straight into who some of these athletes are before we go through the session. China's Lao Triyun was probably the front runner in everybody's mind. She's a world record holder in the clean and jerk at 129 and the total at 227. During qualifying periods, she did that 227. It was a 98 snatch and a 129. She did that in period 2, and she's been pretty consistent throughout. Then we have Heidelin Diaz from the Philippines. This was going to be her 4th Olympic Games. Incredibly experienced weightlifter, and more so than anyone, she's just very consistent. She totals in between 212 and 214 at pretty much every competition, but 214 is the most that she's hit during qualifying period, 13 kilos down below Lao Triyun. Then there was the young Uzbek, Muata Nabieva, who has been, again, snatching consistently in the high 90s, sort of a mid-range teens clean and jerker. There's the Kazakh weightlifter, Zulfia Chinchandler, who was popped back in 2012, but has put up some enormous numbers, amongst other lifters. The Olympic standards going into this, 97 in the snatch, 121 in the clean and jerk, 217 in the total, and we absolutely saw all of those get destroyed. Now, today's episode is brought to you by the Weightlifting House thumb tape, which today is 20% off for the next 24 hours. Weightlifting House thumb tape is one of the first products we ever started making. It started with blue, went to pink, now we have this very cool black and gold. It's incredibly adhesive, it doesn't leave any kind of sticky residue on your fingers, very easy to tear, lasts a full session, and at 6.9 meters it is the longest thumb tape on the market, so these boxes will actually last you longer than any other thumb tape. It's 20% off, I'll put a link down below, and of course it's 10% off everything else store-wide for the rest of the Olympic Games. Now, controversy straight away as the Korean Yoonji Ham had her opener at 85 kilos turned away after a majority good lift was given. It was due to a wobbly elbow, so the jury overturned it. She did, however, manage to come back on a second attempt and make that 85 kilos. Next, the Tunisian Nuha Landulsi made 88 kilos for her opener, and the ease of Kristina Shermatova's 90 kilo opener was striking. As Michaela Breeze said on the commentary, it looked like she could have done a set of 3 with that, and it certainly did. Ana Lopez from Mexico then made her 90 kilo opener look similarly easy, and that ease of 90 kilo openers was kind of broken as the once popped Kazakh lifter Zulfia Chinchandler made, but it was an extremely shaky, difficult looking 90 kilos. The Korean Yoonji Ham, who had missed 85 and then made 85, made a huge jump up to 90 kilos for her 3rd attempt and final lift. The 4th attempt at 90 kilos in the competition so far, and she missed it. Kamila Konotop of Ukraine then made an easy opener at 91 kilos, and a huge surprise to all of us at this point when the huge favourite for the session, Lao Triyun, the 2019 world champion, the 2021 Asian champion, came out early and opened up at 92 kilos. She had dropped her opener by a few kilos at this point to come out and make it. Regardless, she did make that 92 kilo opener look very easy, and she isn't known for being the best snatcher in the world, though she does hold the clean and jerk and the total world record. So she is quite comfortable sitting back a little lower in the pack after the snatches and then doing what she needs to do in the clean and jerk. At this point, Heidelin Diaz and Muata Nabieva were still yet to open. Nuha Landulsi tried to match Lao Triyun with 92 kilos, but the difference in strength was palpable. She missed, and again, she missed on her 3rd attempt too. Next, Kristina Shermatova missed her 2nd attempt at 93 kilos, and then her 3rd attempt. And Zulfia Chinchandler made her 2nd attempt at 93 kilos, again with a remarkable save, rocking way back onto her heels, tucking the tailbone under, tucking the head down to save it. Although then, after she had made that lift, she stood there waiting, pensively looking, uncertain at the jury, kind of asserted this feeling of being unsure about whether it was a good lift, rather than punching the air and trying to sell the lift. And that, of course, then caused the jury to take notice of what she was doing, and they took a further look and they overturned it. So this was a really, really silly mistake for such an experienced weightlifter. And then again, she came out on the 3rd attempt and she pressed it out. So she ended up with just 90 kilos. Next, a popular weightlifter from the Philippines, Heidelin Diaz, extremely accomplished lifter, came out to open with a very strong 94 kilo weightlifter. It doesn't really matter that there's this very tough judging on lockouts at the moment for Heidlin because she has such a strong lockout. That moved her into the lead. 94 kilos was then missed by Ana Lopez on her second attempt. And finally, it was time for the 20-year-old Uzbek Muata Nabieva to come out. She opened up with an extremely strong 95 kilo lift, 4 kilos below her personal record, probably the strongest snatcher in this entire pack. Then Lao Chiyun from China, who'd waited for over 10 minutes at this point, came out, and again she made her lift, this time at 95 kilos, and again she kind of made her physical strength look like it was in a class above everybody else in terms of ease and technique. But clearly the Chinese team are playing for a somewhat safe opener, second, third attempt in the snatch, just putting her into a solid position in the clean and jerk. A miss then on her third attempt for Ana Lopez at 95 kilos, and the same for Konotop on her third attempt. And so it was then Heidlin Diaz who would come out for her second attempt. A clear front pack forming at this point of Lao Chiyun, Heidlin Diaz and Muata Nabieva. Just a 3 kilo jump for Heidlin on her second attempt to 97 kilos, which the 4-time Olympian made emphatically. Lao Chiyun then came out to match Heidlin, but this time it was on her third attempt, and again it was as easy as the last two. She made 97 kilos. Makes you kind of wonder why she didn't go heavier. I suppose you have to just accept that the team probably has a supreme confidence in her ability to clean and jerk what they need for the gold. And so 3 attempts remaining, 2 for Nabieva, 1 for Heidlin. Nabieva came out to move ahead of the other two at 98 kilos, a new Olympic record for her second attempt, but she missed it out in front. She had hit 99 kilos at the Asian Championships a couple of months ago, even attempting 102 kilos there, so this miss was clearly far from their plan. She did then come out on her third attempt and put the bar right in the slot, making 98 kilos and setting a new Olympic record. And so Heidlin Diaz, with 1 attempt remaining to reclaim that lead and gain that Olympic record for herself, she came out to 99 kilos, but she missed, and so she was left with 97 kilos, the same weight that she had hit at the London Olympics back in 2012, 9 years ago, in a heavier weight category. So that's some progress for a 30-year-old to still be making. And so Nabieva with 98, Lao Chiyun 97, Heidlin Diaz 97. Onto the clean and jerk. So the world record is held by Lao Chiyun at 129. The Olympic record here was 121 to beat. And putting in some pretty heavy opening attempts, we had, before it started, Lao Chiyun had entered in 120. Zofia Cinchanlo had also put in 120. Heidlin Diaz had put in 118. All of those likely to come down slightly, but still very aggressive opening attempts to put in. Ana Lopez kicked the clean and jerks off with a 105 kilo power jerk, followed by another successful power jerk at 106 kilos by Kamila Konotop. Ana Lopez would then miss her second power jerk behind at 110, but 20-year-old Konotop would make hers at 110. Lopez would then try again at the same weight of 110, a solid jerk, but a wobbly elbow that led again to a loss behind. So that is 195 kilos for Mexico. Shermatova of Turkmenistan split incredibly wide on her attempt and successfully made 111 to open and enter the competition, the clean and jerks. She was then beaten by the third attempt at 112 of the young Konotop, who could barely hold on but somehow managed to get the down signal just before her elbows buckled. A tremendous 5-6 performance for such a young lifter at their first Olympic Games. Nuhar Landusi, who had opened up successfully at 108 kilos before moving up to and missing 113 kilos, had a really long wait. She ended up dumping on her third attempt, making 196 kilos for her total. And then next up, and maybe out a little bit earlier than we'd expected, was snatch front runner Muata Nabieva, dropping from 118 kilos down to 114 kilos for her opening attempt. And this, I think she maybe imagined, would pretty much guarantee her a medal behind Liao and Heidlin, who were looking to be in the battle for gold and silver. It was a truly easy clean, and the bar pinged up off her shoulders for the jerk, but she pressed it out, and it got called for a no lift. On her second attempt, however, clearly focusing now solely on just pressing out with that left elbow, she executed the lift perfectly, making it look like kind of like a lift that should have been taken place 10 minutes before in the back room, not a second attempt on the competition platform. At this point, it was just time to sit back and wait to see what she would need for a final attempt to guarantee the medal. It seems more commonplace among the Korean weightlifting team than any other. Yoonji Ham missed her opener at 115 kilos by losing the jerk behind. I don't know what it is about the Korean team, but this does happen a little bit too frequently for them. 1 minute later, and Shamatova again split exceedingly long, but locked out a 115 kilo second attempt beautifully. Yoonji Ham then came back out to reattempt that 115, but she ended up pressing it out. So she was in now a do or die situation to put up a total and remain in the competition. If she misses it, she bombs out. She went up to 116 kilos for some reason, because she had a 2-minute clock at 115, not quite sure why she did that, and somehow she made the lift despite being a little bit wobbly in the elbows. Honestly, I think if this had been judged on her first attempt, it would have been a no lift. There was some level of feeling bad maybe, or judging the sport differently on third attempts, like we know they do in lots of professional sports towards the end of a match, and they gave her the lift, so she ended up getting the total. Then Nabieva, who was in my mind pretty much a definite medal contender, came out to attempt 117 kilos for a final lift. She already had a 212 kilo total, so this would be to move her up to 215, but she missed getting under the bar. And so the target had been set. Heidlin and Liao can certainly beat it, but now it gives Zulfiya Chinchanlo from Kazakhstan a target. 123 kilos would be needed for her to overtake Muata Nabieva for that medal slot. Shomatova then came out and missed 117 on her third attempt, and so 3 lifters remained, 3 attempts each, 9 lifts to go. World record holder in the lift, Lao Chiyun, was up first with 118 kilos to secure a total. Not a great clean, as always. She kind of catches things and pauses in the bottom of the clean, but she stands them up easily and puts the jerk overhead beautifully. Heidlin and Lau need to outlift each other basically by a kilo, having snatched the same weight at 97 kilos. And so, right on cue, 1 kilo up, Heidlin came out and smoked 119 kilos for that 1 kilo lead. Zulfiya Chinchanlo then made an extremely bold call to just go straight to 123 kilos rather than putting a lift in to guarantee a total and just claim, 4th place or something like that. She went straight to 123 kilos where she would have 3 attempts, a lift that would move her above Muata Nabieva. It will be medal or bust for the Kazakh lifter. And so out she came, and she made the lift with a slight wobble. Somehow she got given 2 white lights, but the jury stopped the clock and took a look. And just as we all thought over here when we were watching it, they ended up taking that lift away for her. So 2 attempts remaining. Fortunately, though, for Zulfiya Chinchanlo, it wasn't a strength issue in that lift. It was clearly just technical, so it was something that could be fixed. But before she could reattempt, it was time for Liao Chiyun to take 123 kilos, which would force Heidlin to attempt 124, which I believe was a PR for her. So surely the Chinese knew that if they did 123, there'd be a bit of a psychological barrier for Heidlin. Again, not the prettiest clean in the world, but an unbelievably beautiful jerk. Absolutely stuck it for the lead. What a lockout. That is 6 kilos under her own world record. And so out comes Zulfiya Chinchanlo of Kazakhstan again, and this time she left no doubt. She absolutely destroyed the lift. 3 white lights, 90 in the snatch, 123 in the clean and jerk, guaranteeing the medal over Muata Nabieva. And thinking about it, that's probably going to be the only medal that Kazakhstan makes in weightlifting, which is, how times have changed. Heidlin Diaz then came out for 124 kilos to get that lead back over Lao Chiyun, and what a strong lift it was. She fought hard, and to her credit, she absolutely smoked the lift. She fought so hard after a tough clean and stayed really strong with the lockout under a moving bar until she managed to come with her feet together and find some stillness. And so that was the lead at that point for Heidlin Diaz. 1 attempt remaining each for the 3 lifters, though the battle for gold really at this point just lay between Lao Chiyun and Heidlin Diaz. Zulfiya actually ended up just letting the clock run down before withdrawing, which gave the other 2 some extra rest. So at this point, the difficulty became who decides to go first. If you decide to go and you pick a number, you have to be able to pretty much guarantee that the other lifter cannot lift 1 kilo above that. And China decided that if they took 126, a weight that Lao Chiyun has done several times, that would force Heidlin to take 127, which they believed she would not be able to do. And that is several kilos over anything she has done before. And so they went for 126. Again, it was a tough clean for Lao Chiyun. She caught it deep, she paused, she stood up from a dead stop, And then, as always, the most beautiful textbook jerk you'll ever see, reclaiming the lead at 223 kilos, though now out of attempts. One attempt remaining for Heidelin Diaz, a huge PR attempt at 127 kilos. And everything about this number was new to Heidelin. She pulled the bar slowly, she just got under it, and even more barely got up with it. And then with the most defiant dip and drive, the realization of a 16-year dream, the 4-time Olympian finally made the lift and got the medal that she'd been fighting for her whole career. She was the Olympic champion, and at last the Chinese had been defeated. And so it was Heidelin Diaz of the Philippines with 224 kilos, Lao Chiyun of China with 223, and Zulfiya Chinchanlo of Kazakhstan with 213. Let's take a quick look at the stats. 9 lifters, 54 attempts, 0 bomb outs, 1 6-for-6 performance, which didn't win. It was Lao Chiyun got 6-for-6, did everything her coaches asked her to, and didn't win. So the coaches certainly need to take a long, hard look at themselves in the mirror because they didn't fulfill their role there. 30 makes, 24 misses, only 6 out of 18 third attempts made. This was the first competition so far in weightlifting at the Olympics where the end result wasn't quite as I think a lot of us thought it was. Certainly, I'm happy to hold up my hands and say I didn't think that Lao Chiyun was beatable. I didn't think that anyone was going to be able to topple her, but on this day, and I'm very happy to say it, Heidelin Diaz was able to defeat the Chinese. This episode of the Weightlifting House Wrap-Up is brought to you by the Weightlifting House Thumb Tape. Go grab yours now. Longest tape on the market, sticky, easy to tear, doesn't leave residue, lift more, hurt less. I'll put a link down below, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.